Hello everyone, welcome to next session. So this section is specially designed to understand the how Wiremock instance is set up on a remote server. So the foremost thing we should understand is why we are discussing the remote instance. So everything that Wiremock offers can be done on the local machine also, right? So your local desktop, your local laptop, whatever you are using, so you can use Wiremock on that also. But why we are discussing remote instance here? So if we consider a real project, suppose in your organization you are working on any of the project where you need Wiremock, then around 99% of the time it is done on a remote server, because in the suppose in any so in the software industry or in the where we have clients that use the Wiremock, in that case a remote instance is required because you need a proper setup of a standalone server, right? So a separate server is required, so that's why we're discussing this. And I would request you all to must try this once. So let's begin. So here it's quite straightforward. So what we will discuss is, so we have a local host first. So local host can be our local machine, right? It can be a desktop or laptop. So so what we are doing here is we are trying to access the Wiremock server on remote instance on a remote Windows machine from the local machine. So we are separately setting up a Wiremock server on a remote machine, and all the work will be done on, like, all the Wiremock feature, all the stubs you want, all the mocks you want to create, all the transactions you want to stop, that will be done on the local host, but it will be tied to the remote Wiremock standalone instance. So let's see how this will work. So as you all know, in our Windows, in even our local Windows system, we have firewall. So this is the same firewall. So we will be using AWS to create a EC2 instance. So EC2 is nothing, it's just EC2 is a different types of cloud solutions, so cloud instances, I would say, that are offered by AWS. So it can be Linux, it can be Windows, it can be Mac as well. So here we will be discussing the Windows instance. We will be creating a Windows instance on AWS, and then we will access it through the our local machine. And the next step will be to set up the Wiremock server on there and access it from the local host. All the work we will regarding the Wiremock mocking or all the stuffs, we will be doing it on local host, right? So now we have a Windows firewall here. Then what is this firewall here? So this is the AWS virtual firewall. So this is quite important to understand. Apart from the Windows firewall, AWS also provides its virtual firewall. So it allows the inbound and outbound traffic. It allows, so here you can specify what all inbound traffic and outbound traffic is allowed. So let's take an example. It can be an RDP traffic, right? So you are trying to access the remote server doing the using the RDP, right? Or you want to access any resource, suppose any HTTP, any resource, any website hosted on this instance from localhost, right? So in that case we will use HTTP or HTTPS, and so that particular website or application will be hosted on a port. So you need to tell this firewall which port I am using, so that it can allow the inbound and outbound traffic, right? So that's why this, so to make this work, you need to whitelist that port both on this firewall, virtual firewall, and also on the Windows firewall, right? So only these two setups are the most important that we need to do, and rest everything remains the same. The Wiremock feature, the Wiremock working, how Wiremock will be configured, everything remains the same. So let's start hands-on this. We will move to the AWS console now. Thank you.